everyone. Welcome to another Ashram Talks session. Today we're continuing through chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, and our topic is called Turning Attraction into Love. So we're going to kind of examine and approach the difference between attraction and love. To guide us in this topic today, we have Prema joining us from New Jersey. Welcome, Prema. It's so great to have you here again today.
Thank you so much. You had told me something that Subhaja was going to be in charge. I haven't seen her in a long time, but if you see this video, Subhaja, Haribo, how are you? I hope it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But again, thanks so much for joining us. So whenever you're ready, we can get started for today.
Sure, let's go for it.
Oh, sorry. Just a second.
Okay. So good evening, everybody. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. And the chapter is called Karma Yoga. And the text is text 40. And it goes as follows. Indriyani manobudir asyadistanam uchate etar vimohayatya sa jnanam abrita dehinam. Indriyani, the senses, manaha, the mind, buddhi, the intelligence, asya, of this lust, adhistanam, sitting place, uchate is called, attire by all these, vimohayati, bewilders, esaha, this lust, jnana, knowledge, abritya, covering, dehinam, all the embodied. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation: the senses, mind, and intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul. And therefore, Lord Krishna is giving us hints of those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all activities of the senses. And thus, when we hear about sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter, and thus with the mind and the senses, the mind and the senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistake this as true happiness. This false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:84-13 as follows. Yasyadma buddhi kunape tridatuke swadik kalatra dishubonma iya dik yatirta buddhi salile nakarichit yagyeshu abigeshu saeva gokara. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, and who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to the places of pilgrimage simply to take bath rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. A heavy, heavy purport. So going back to the translation, The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So that's a quick prayer for auspiciousness here. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual teacher opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. And a quick another one. Another nice prayer. Mukhang kroti vachalang fangu langaya tigirim yat kripa tamaham bande paramananda madhavam. So by the mercy of the spiritual master, even a layman can cross mountains, and a fool can speak poetry and become an orator. So I've been thinking about this verse, and while reading reading the purport, some thoughts of my childhood came back. Like I used to love back in the day when it was Friday. It was Friday night, and after working for a whole week, and you'll think, oh my gosh, I can go somewhere on Friday and enjoy. And this was the happiness of a lot of people, actually. We think on Friday we get paid, and now we can go and have fun. And and I say that because that's how our mind is trained, especially when we are young and we don't have much experience of the world, and we are full of energy. The senses are very strong, so we're looking for happiness. And the Bhagavad Gita says that the Vedas, these teachings, are saying that we are meant to enjoy, but right now we are looking for enjoyment in the wrong location, in the wrong place. And it's very difficult to get out of that mindset. You have to have like a very powerful alternative. Once a devotee was giving a class about if you have a pizza from the day before and you're heating it up, and somebody comes with a fresh pizza and says, hey, get rid of that one and I'll give you this new pizza. Automatically you say, sure, why not? So similarly, in order to give up those very cherished pleasures that we have to have some more powerful something superior, something more powerful. So that's like an initial thought that came to my mind. Also, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is talking about some technical stuff. Prabhupada is talking about the intelligence, the mind, the senses. And whoever has this Bhagavad Gita, there is these nice pictures in the middle. And one of the pictures is presenting exactly what Prabhupada is mentioning. What was it? Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it, but so there's these horses. There's a person riding 5 horses. The horses are representing the senses. Like in the chest of the horses, you will find an eye, a nose, an ear, a mouth. So those are the horses are looking for something. And then the reins, the ropes to control the horses, that's called the mind. The chariot is considered the intelligence, and the driver is the soul. So, and if you get a chance to see that painting, so the description here says the individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Oh no, the soul is just sitting there. The intelligence is driving. The mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. So what a powerful example. And in one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining that this energy, they are also divine. Daivye saguna mayi mama maya duradhyaya mayeva ye prapadyante mayametantrantate. This material energy, which is an energy of mind, is very difficult to overcome. So how can you conquer something that is divine? Is material, but is divine. And how can you conquer it? Those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond it. And so that's the secret. We have to harmonize. That's the word I was thinking. We have to harmonize our desires and link them with a transcendental desire, or like the spiritual desire. So as long as we don't have that harmony, we will be attacked by the onslaughts of material nature. We will suffer ups and downs because the world is full of duality. We in fear, right? In fear because this body is temporary. So we always want to make plans. Like me, I'm in my 50s. I'm like, oh, what should I do when I retire? Where should I go? No, you might, it might not happen. Is there a guarantee? No. So in a previous chapter, in a previous verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna was explaining about the degrees of discovering of the soul by lust. So lust is not bad. Lust is just like the love that we have for God, but when we become independent, now has become contaminated, meaning we are trying to we have become selfish. We want the enjoyment only for me, and everything is. I was thinking about like if Radhesham makes a party and she invites me, and then I go to her party and I say, okay, you can go now. I'm in charge. Like I'll say you are out of the party. So that selfishness is what we're doing because this material world is a chance for us to purify those desires and then follow some rules and get out immediately. So we need to develop those qualities necessary uh, to gradually become attached to the activity to transcendental activities. Yeah. So the examples they were giving in the previous verse was one was the smoke covering the fire, and that is the example of the animals. He was giving the example of the animals. That the animals are also like conscious, but they are covered. They only have four business, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The other example was giving of the dust covering the mirror, and that's the example given by the human life, that we just need to clean the mirror, the dust, and we will see ourselves in there. And the last one was about the embryo within the womb, and this is a condition when the living entity is completely covered, and helpless. And Prabhupada gives the example of the trees, which are standing in the cold and the heat, and they're almost unconscious, but they are still living entities. And so in the same verse was mentioned that the mode of passion, that this enemy called lust, uh, is reinforced by the mode of passion. That instead of degrading it to the mode of ignorance, it raises to the mode of goodness, then the person can be helped. And the kings and people who are the leaders, they were supposed to help out the rest of society, to guide them. It is mentioned somewhere in the Vedas that if you don't become a teacher, don't become a father or mother, don't become a spiritual guide, if you're not able to deliver your dependents. So it's a big responsibility to be in a responsible position. I was so the teachers sometimes, some of us, they are not so good at understanding philosophy, and so there is some teachers that sometimes they break down some some philosophy and like make it into a song or a poetry. And I was reading one song by Bhakti Yoga, who's like a teacher that appeared maybe like, let's see, one like 3 or 4 generations ago. So he was last in the 1800s. He was a magistrate in Bengal, and he was a judge also, and he was in charge of a big temple in Jagannath Puri, and he was an amazing personality, and we are identify with him a lot. And but the song is not by him, but he wrote so many songs. The song that I'm gonna read is by Govinda Das. So the song is basically explaining the breaking down in a simpler way, um, the position of one who is conditioned here. So the song goes, is in the Bengali. Baja hure mana Sri Nanda Nandana Avaya Charana Rabinda Re. In the translation is, oh my mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. So much depression going on these days. We all feel it with this uncertainty of words, which I was saying the other day that in my 57 years on this planet, there's always been words. So if you are fearful, if you are anxious, this is, oh mine, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda. So uh, here, very nicely, is making a connection with the supreme, instead of calling the supreme the judge, the more powerful, the like there is some adjectives for the supreme. He's calling son of Nanda Nandana, which is like a very endearing, very personal way. um, Nanda Nandana, Nandana is the Nanda Maharaj is the father of Krishna, and Nanda Nandana means the son of Nanda Maharaj. Next, it goes, Durlava Manava Janava Satsange Taroho Taroho E Bhava Sindure. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. So another medicine here. You have to hang around with those people who are interested in progressing spiritually. And that will take care also of many problems. I've said this before, but one teacher says that the answer for the that how questions is answered by the association of the bodies. How can I do this? Oh, the association of the bodies. So it's like I said before, the devotees are very special, and because they can enlighten you and give you guidance. The next one goes text number 2. Sita eatapa bata barishana hedina jamini jagire. Both day and night I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of heat and cold, the wind and the rain. Bifali sevino kripana ju durajana chapala suka lava lagire. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. So nobody likes their boss, but we have to like smile and show up there every day. So for a flickering happiness, we are giving our lives for this. Number 3, Edana Yovana Putra Parijana Itekiache Paratitire. What assurance of real happiness is there in one's wealth, youthfulness, family? What assurance is there? Kamala Dalajala Jivana Talamala Bajahu Hari Pada Nirire. This is a very powerful verse. It says, "This life is tottering like a drop of water on a leaf." Here it says on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Hari. So imagine a leaf and a drop of water there, and the wind is moving the leaf. So the drop of water can. So this life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. And everything is practice. We cannot jump right away to that stage. It's practicing association. Spiritual life is not an event, it's a process. An event is like, oh, I became enlightened. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a process. And the last one, Shravana Kirtanang Smaravandanang Pada Sevanang Dasyare. So by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, the lotus feet of the Lord, and worshiping as a servant with flowers and incense. And at the end, it says, Pujana Saki Jana Adma Nivedana Govinda Das Avilasare. So giving gradually, completely offering the Lord one's very self. So it's very powerful. It looks like a simple song, but it goes very deep, and we are very fortunate that we have so many songs, books and books of guidance. And if we slow down and analyze, we can get the answers to the problems of material existence. Another very, we still have a couple more minutes. Maharaj, where is Maharaj? Let's see. So a very quoted verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9 canto, 4th chapter, text 18 to 20. Sabai mana Krishna padara vindayor, bacham sivaikунta gunan varnane. Kalo harid mandira marjana diso, shrutim chakarajuta sat katolaye. The dog's trying to bark over there. Hey, don't bark right now. Seeing dogs outside. So this the Maharaj Ambarisha was like a self-realized soul. There's so many there's a couple pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam about what happened to him. So he this verse is saying how can we utilize our senses in the service of the Lord. And he says here, King Ambarisha fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee. Like to association. His nostrils and smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. His tongue and tasting the tulsi leaves offered to him. His legs and traveling to the holy places where his temple is situated. His head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desire in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. All these qualifications made him fit to become a Matpara, devotee of the Lord, so like a topmost. And so at the end of the day, it's our decision how serious we should become a spiritual life. And sometimes when the Lord is what's it called, there's a verse that it says that when the Lord when you are favored by the Lord, he will make your life miserable. I remember reading a passage of Srila Prabhupada when our spiritual grandfather, when he took sannyas, I think he was in his late 50s, and he started distributing this magazine to the people. He was in Delhi, and he had a heat stroke because he was walking in the sun. But also one day, a bull came in and hit him and threw Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was saying, "What's going on? I took like a monastic life, and here, what's going on?" So, and then later on, they says that when you really favor to the Lord will take everything away from you, and even your family members will reject you. You'll be like a homeless in the street. So that so sometimes the Lord will accelerate the process, will put some calamities in your life to make you surrender. Recently, it was the Super Bowl, and Bad Bunny was doing the halftime. And I understand everything that he's saying because that's my mother language, Spanish. And I was watching it, and then the songs, the songs stay in my mind. So that means like whatever you put in your mind will take a picture. And I'm not saying it was good or bad. I was just we are living in the world, and sometimes we are exposed, or we have the desire to watch. And but it was interesting because then days afterwards the songs were coming back in my mind like a radio. I was yeah. So let's see. um, we like have 2 more minutes. So let's read the verse again. It says, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lost. Through them, lost covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. And the next verses will give, Krishna will give a few more advice about how to go about. And remember, it's a process. We have material desires, and sometimes some people, they take to spiritual life right away, and um, they stay in the fire all the time. Other people, most talking about myself anyway, so this like, but there's hope. So I'm gonna stop here to see if Radhesham, you have any comment?
Yeah, definitely. I do. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think there are a lot of important points that came out of what you said, but especially, what you said was very powerful, right? Spiritual life is not an event; it's a process,
Yeah.
and there are definitely ups and downs. Sometimes I think, I don't know, maybe like we're waiting for that event to happen, right? Or when we approach spiritual life, we're like, okay, when is it going to happen, right? Whatever it is. But you're saying, it's not one event. It is a process. And so I think it's interesting for you right? Like maybe you've experienced spiritual life, as a brahmachari, right? As a young student, and now as someone who's married and has kids, and now even, older kids, right? And you're going through these different stages in your spiritual life, right? We mean, what does that mean for you to say, like, this is not one event, it's a lifelong process?
Yeah. Tell me again the question.
I don't really know. I don't know if there's one question,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think like you're an example, right? Like maybe
Oh,
your own life is an example of how we could even see that spiritual life is not necessarily one singular event, right? It's like this lifelong process that
yes,
maybe
yes.
accompanies us in all these stages, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you what you want is to get purified. So you want whatever you do, just get for example, like I choose to get married. So I'm like, I working, I have like marriage counseling. We go together, even though we've been married since 1997, and I have my personal counseling, which it took like some time to accept. Latinos, we like, no, you don't need counseling.
Yeah.
But then the culture that I saw was the men drink and then they started crying. That's when they open their hearts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably in many other cultures.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how and yeah, so you have to take responsibility. You have the kids, you have to help them, and there might be grandkids in the future. I don't know. So you have to have like a like plan, hope for the best, and trust that things will work. And yeah, so there's a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, um, emergencies, and um, what I notice right now is that a lot of Prabhupada disciples are leaving their bodies, passing away left and right, and some devotees that I used to know, they're getting old. Some are getting Alzheimer's. And there's a lot of necessity of devotee care. And I'm always thinking like, what should I do like later on? And I'm going towards that, like,
Wow.
because
Yeah.
let's say you're like a preacher, and everybody knows you, and you might have some disciples, so they take care of you. But the average disciple, the average devotee, many times is neglected, and because we emphasize, is that a word?
Yeah. Emphasize. Yeah.
We emphasize like the importance of the afterlife rather than right now. But it's super important to have a full life here too. And so I've been thinking about that devotee care, and
Yeah,
I'm,
like
I'm
maybe you going
excited.
into that, right? Like maybe offering some care. You mean to like some older.
Yeah, so some devotees, and I was yeah, I noticed that I become very animated. So that's very special, that
Yeah.
this situation, because I was afraid. My wife is a nurse, but me, I'm like, but now I'm like, okay, so we have this body, and it breaks down.
Yeah, definitely. My mom's older sister left her body
Oh,
like a few months ago,
mm,
and we're with her like during all those final weeks, final months, final weeks, final days, and it is such a very like intense thing, but you get the sense when you're there, like you feel like it's really important, right? Just like we feel like it's important when a baby is born, like you have the sense like, oh, this is an important time. Then meeting the chaplains, right? Like people that work in hospitals, and they'll just walk in and they'll be like, all right, like what religion are you? And whatever you say, right? Like they'll start praying, or they'll start trying to offer like some spiritual support. And I thought, wow, what an amazing job, right? Like that is their job,
yeah,
is to like accompany families and people and
yeah,
be there at that time of death, of transition, right? So
yeah.
yeah, no, I think I think it's interesting that you bring that up, right? Yeah, that whole field, I guess, area of devotee care
It's missing.
is so important. Yeah, it's huge.
Anyway, I see some devotees are there, Colleen, as always, and
Yeah.
Subi
Colleen
Devi.
is here and Subhadra is here. And so they were referring right to the song that you shared.
Oh,
Again, such a powerful message. Yeah, Subhadra said, it's such a beautiful and enlightening song.
oh,
And Yeah, Colleen said, lovely class. Thank you, Prema. A beautiful song. Songs are poetry. Songs and poetry are such a gift. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, I definitely agree. We're so fortunate to have, yeah, so many creative works in our tradition, right? In terms of like songs and poetry and these really deep expressions, creative expressions.
Yeah, so I was also thinking about this, that one verse in the Bhagavatam, it says that in this age of Kali, um, we are always unlucky, misguided, we are lazy. You know that verse?
Not off
Anyway,
the top
so
of my
so they
head.
said like we are like manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya kyupadruta. So we are lazy, we are misguided, short-lived. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 400 years ago, 500 years ago, and he established this congregational chanting. Chant the names of the Lord. Get together in your village and in your language, wherever you are, and just glorify the names of the Lord and dance and feast. Offer the food and such an enlivening, easy process. But Kali Yuga, we got all these, misguided, unlucky, and so yeah. So the process is, and oh yeah, so simple people, can chant in the villages. You don't have to be an erudite scholar, and they are very powerful and deep. The and yeah, I've been trying to listen to some songs, and
Yeah,
chanting, and
definitely.
they really soothe your heart, like when you're like grounds you, that word, right? We want to be
Grounds you.
grounded,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it grounds you. Of course, we have the Hare Krishna mantra also. It grounds you, but of course, we shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I need to be grounded. Let me it has to be like sadhana also, like, it's
Natural.
my duty and to my teacher.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been talking a lot right around this topic in the last classes, like just like it's not about just not having goals or not wanting to do anything. It's just how can we right transform our goals or transform our desires and make them like an expression of our service, right? Or of our offering. So I think that yeah, I think that you really were able to touch on that. So thank you again for joining us today and for sharing your experience and yeah, such kind of a natural and genuine and honest way. So that I really appreciate that.
Thank you for inviting me, and we'll see you soon around
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Krishna
And thank
wants.
you to everyone who joined us today. And we will see you Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you.
Haribo.